When you think about the biggest players in AI, a few names probably pop into your head right away. OpenAI, Google, maybe Anthropic. But what if I told you one of the most powerful competitors out there is a company you probably just think of for online shopping? Yeah, we're going to dive into the incredible story of Alibaba's AI, a silent giant that's been building models that can seriously go toe-to-toe with the best of them. And hey, don't just take my word for it. When Elon Musk, a guy who knows a thing or two about AI, got a look at the performance of Alibaba's new Quen models, this is what he said: impressive intelligence density. That is some serious praise from a major player, and it's our first big clue that something really special is going on behind the scenes. All right, so what exactly is making all these waves? Well, it all comes down to this family of AI models they call Quen. And believe me, they are not just showing up to compete. In a lot of key areas, they're actually winning. So here's the deal. While the whole world has been glued to ChatGPT and Gemini, Alibaba's Quen series has been, well, quietly climbing up the leaderboards. It's been posting benchmark scores that are genuinely challenging the established order. This isn't just marketing hype. We're talking about raw, undeniable performance. Okay, let's get into the hard data, because this is where it gets really interesting. Here we've got QN up against Anthropic's Claude Opus 4, which is a fantastic model. As you can see, they're pretty much neck and neck on graduate level questions, and QN even pulls ahead a little bit on coding. But look at that reasoning test, 92.3%. That is a massive lead. It tells you right away that QN is a world-class reasoning engine. So how in the world are they doing this? Well, a huge part of the secret sauce is a technology called Mixture of Experts, or MOE for short. Think of it like this. Instead of having one giant brain try to answer every single question, you have a massive team of specialists. When a question comes in, you only route it to the 2 or 3 experts who actually know about that topic. So the Quen model might have 235 billion parameters in total, but for any one task, it's only using a fraction of that, maybe 22 billion. It's how they get that incredible power with unbelievable efficiency. And the versatility here is just wild. It's not just one giant model. The QN family scales all the way from these massive trillion-parameter monsters down to tiny, efficient versions you can run on your phone. Plus, they're open source, which is a huge deal for developers. They get both text and images. And with a context window of up to 1 million tokens, they can read and analyze an entire code base in one sitting. It's incredible. Okay, so we've established that Alibaba has a world-class engine, no doubt about it. But an engine needs a car, right? And this is where we hit the central paradox of this whole story. The AI technology is absolutely global grade, but the platform it runs on, well, it has some pretty serious limitations. Now, to be clear, for its intended job, which is running huge dedicated AI workloads in the Asia-Pacific region, Alibaba Cloud is an absolute beast. It can handle over 4 gigabits per second of data. It can take massive traffic spikes without even breaking a sweat. If your business is in China, Singapore, or Japan, it's a fantastic choice. So if it's that powerful, what's the problem? What's the catch for a developer sitting in Berlin or San Francisco? Well, the platform was really built for one specific, heavy-duty job, and the second you try to use it for something else, the cracks really start to show. And this number right here, this is the catch. 6,495 milliseconds. That's the average timed first byte. Basically, it's how long it takes your web browser to get the very first piece of information from the server. We're talking almost 6.5 seconds of waiting. For any modern website, that's an eternity. It makes it practically unusable for any global user-facing app. And on top of the awful performance, you've got the price. If you're using their servers in mainland China, the cost is amazing, often 50% cheaper than OpenAI. But the second you need to serve users in the US or Europe, you get slammed with what people are calling an international tax. The exact same work can suddenly cost you 3 times as much. It's a massive, massive barrier to going global. So let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture here, because this isn't just a story about Alibaba. It's really about a fundamental shift in the entire AI landscape. You see, for years, the whole game was about who could build the biggest, most massive model. More parameters, more data, bigger is better. But that's changing. The new frontier is all about efficiency, accessibility, and specialized performance. The race is now about creating models that are not just powerful, but also practical and open enough for developers to actually build amazing things on top of. And that's a trend that plays right into QN's strengths. Which, of course, begs the question, if the tech is so good, and it's perfectly aligned with where the industry is heading, why isn't Alibaba a household name in AI? Well, the reasons are complicated. Geopolitics makes it tough to form partnerships in the West. Their models and documentation often come out in Chinese first, creating a lag for everyone else. And honestly, the media spotlight is just so intensely focused on a couple of familiar Silicon Valley names.
And all of this brings us to the final question. When you put it all together, what does the future really hold for Alibaba's AI on the world stage? Is it a true global contender, or is it just destined to be a regional champion?
I mean, you can basically summarize the entire dilemma with this one slide. The strengths are just undeniable. They're dominant in Asia Pacific, they have a fully integrated tech stack, the cost advantages in China are insane, and they're committed to open source. But the weaknesses are just as glaring. That terrible hosting performance for general use, the punishing international pricing, and documentation gaps that just make life harder for global developers. So ultimately, it really just boils down to this. Alibaba has built a Formula One engine with its QN AI. It is an absolute masterpiece of engineering that can compete with and sometimes even beat the very best in the world. But they've put that engine into a car that was designed for a very specific regional racetrack. And they've got a business model that pretty much discourages anyone else from taking it for a spin. And that leaves us right here with this big open question. Because amazing technology alone doesn't win the race. You also need strategy, accessibility, and a true global vision. Alibaba has already proven they can build world-class AI. The question now is whether they can prove they can build a world-class AI business. And watching them try to make that leap, well, that's going to be one of the most fascinating stories in tech for years to come.